This is Browny's Podcast!
Hey, degenerates! Welcome to Browny's Podcast. If you're new, if you're not new, why haven't you hit subscribe? We need it. I need dinner. That's how I pay for dinner.
Absolutely, it is, Dino. I'm sick of giving you my ashtray money.
Yeah.
I'd like you to earn some genuine money from the punters and from the listeners.
Dog is here, Brody's here, Big John, Beck's here. Hey, real quick, Beck, that Gilly video, we're pretty excited about how many people have been looking at it. What are we up to?
1.1 million, so it's 5 times over the course of the weekend.
Jesus!
How good's that? Beck, you're a star.
It's crazy.
Now-
That's why, now I know Gilly told the story, but you're the one that made it look good.
Correct.
What do you reckon?
Add some polish onto it.
But it's exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Brown
Viral.
Dog, no, not sure.
Viral.
So Brown Dog's just put one out. Beck's just put one out about Brown Dog telling the 2007 All-Australian story where all his mates, including Luke Hodge and Buddy Franklin, left the table.
How many views do you reckon I'll get? 5,000?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, what are we up to? 1.6 million. Beck, in your expert opinion, how many views? I know you're pumping up your own work here, but how many views do you think the dog will get on his?
Ooh, we'll have to see. I mean, it's AFL related, so maybe 10k, 20k, but I think it'll be decent.
And where is
I think
10k,
it'll be decent.
20k rate in the videos? that you
It's
put
very
out?
low. Very low.
It's about average.
Yeah.
So,
Beck is such an honest soul.
yeah, gotta be honest.
Hey, Kiss have just been announced for the grand final. Where I think we all knew it, but it's official today, Broads. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and I cannot think of a worse selection. I've said this before, but now it's hit home. We have to listen to them perform at halftime. They are geriatric rock stars who can no longer perform and have to wear.
Don't they perform before the game? Or is it halftime
Halftime.
entertainment? Since when's it halftime entertainment?
Isn't it always halftime entertainment?
No,
it's pre.
It's always pre-game.
Like Robbie.
So, I
Well,
know,
I'll be watching something else. I'll be watching replays of MASH or something because I will not be watching Kiss perform. Mate, name me 5 hits. Go. Name me 5 of their biggest songs. Go.
the one that's currently playing.
Okay, great. Good start. Yep.
No, but it's more. It's the spectacle.
But they're
It is.
iconic. I'm not sure Kiss is a great spectacle for a daytime grand final, but I think people will get into it because if you actually think of the average age of the audience on grand final day, they're over $500 a ticket this year. So average age, I would have thought, probably closer
elderly.
to 50.
Here's
So
the big-
they're going to know the Kiss songs.
How have
Kiss-
they got away with doing, half blackface all their career?
It's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Do you know? Kiss
Does that offend you?
you know, doesn't offend me.
Do you think
Kiss are big on fireworks and pyrotechnics,
Yeah.
which look like shit during
the daytime?
fucking day.
Yeah, it's a problem.
You see more smoke than the fire,
Yeah,
the
you
sparkly
do.
bits.
Well,
Yeah.
you do. You can't really see the stage,
No.
can you? So, whether it's going to be in the middle of the ground or not, because I think there was some issues about whether Crowded House was going to be in the middle of the ground or on the stage as to what's going to happen. But I can't go past Lionel Richie's performance.
Oh yeah, he
Years
is.
ago, one out for the grand final replay in 2010 when he just stood in the middle of the MCG.
Yeah, dancing on the ceiling.
Dancing
and-
on the ceiling and just knocked it out of the park and didn't have all those pyrotechnics, which obviously don't work during the day.
Yeah, Beck. Honestly, did you know who Kiss were? Honestly,
On the podcast, you told me who they were, so...
Yeah.
that was the first time.
No, like they were on Just Dance, so...
Dog?
When do you reckon the last time something happened in AFL world that was a secret? Like Damien Hardwick gets announced at the Gold Coast Suns. Oh, no shit. We've been speaking about it for 10 weeks. Kiss.
Yeah.
They get announced as the grand final entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, we knew that already. Like, when's the last time you were actually surprised?
Nah, they condition the public. They
Yeah.
put it out there. That's part of their public relations 101.
It's hard
Now,
to keep a
does
secret at
anyone know
AFL House.
public relations here? I don't think
I
it's a
do.
secret. They bleed it out there.
Yeah, Campbell knows a
Just
hell of a
to-
lot about
Mate,
public relations.
Dog, last time I was surprised is when Ben Cousins tried to swim across the Swan River to avoid the police.
The biggest
I
secret
wasn't surprised at that.
in the history of the AFL was Buddy signing with Sydney instead of GWS.
That's right, everyone.
That
Absolutely.
blew everyone away. No one knew that.
The AFL didn't know that.
No.
No, they didn't know. They were filthy.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mike Fitzpatrick, who was the commissioner at the time, rang, I think, the Sydney chairman and gave him one of the great sprays in the history of the game,
he even
apparently.
swore.
Well, he would...
He's a Rhodes Scholar. Did you know that? Mike
What
Fitzpatrick?
swear word did he say?
I think he might have used the word f***,
Wow,
which for him
what?
is unprecedented.
Who would they be better than, though? Who would Kiss be better than?
I wanted Kid Leroy. being an Aussie guy, Adelaide guy.
That's true, man. And he's got 2 bangers, and that's
huge.
all you really need.
No, but I'm saying who better. Like, we're saying Kiss is the worst decision of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I could come up with... who I would prefer Kiss than someone else.
Okay, who's worse than Kiss? Go.
Conrad Sewell.
Disagree. The kids know Conrad Sewell a hell of a lot more than they know Kiss. Don't worry about that.
The kids aren't the only people watching.
Yes, but it's got to be friendly for everyone across the
Ben
spectrum.
Harper.
Ben Harper, you keep going back to
Ben Harper's
Yeah.
a bit slow.
He's a bit slow.
a bit stoned.
R. Kelly would be worse.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
Well,
got
he's
problems
in
getting his
prison.
visa at the moment, I would have thought.
R. Kelly.
A few issues with R. Kelly.
Rolf Harris, again. Problems there.
Let's just
We're
chuck,
going down the-
we'll chuck Michael Jackson in. While we're here, a hologram of Michael
going down
Jackson.
the
I
wrong
believe
line.
Bill Cosby sings.
Okay, here we go. I'll tell you what would be worse.
Okay.
I believe Bill Cosby sing.
I'll tell you he'd be the best, but then he'd be the worst. Billy Ray Cyrus
Yes.
with Achy Breaky Heart
Come
would be
on.
unbelievable. Imagine the MCG
Yeah.
all singing Achy Breaky Heart.
And-
but then,
Yes.
where would he go to after
back
that?
catalogue.
Miley comes out as a surprise.
Well, that's it. Well, that'd be better than Kiss.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. But, John, I reckon Australia would forgive Billy Ray just for playing it twice back to back.
100%. They would go. They were so excited by the first rendition. They're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Bring it on again. Give us an acoustic. Beautiful, mate.
So, do you think a back-to-back rendition of Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus standing in the middle of the MCG would be better than a 12-minute set by Kiss where they play all their classics? What is that a poll?
Hey, you gotta go watch the video to this if you haven't seen it in a
Oh, yeah.
while, man. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You look like him, man, like full on.
I did a video of this to my family and sent it back once because I wasn't there for Christmas Day.
And you, wait,
As a
wait,
12-year-old boy.
wait, hold on.
What?
Pause. You thought you abandoning your family at Christmas to square that up. You sent them a video of you doing this.
It was with my siblings. We sent it back to my family, my extended family back here in Victoria. And I thought it'd be a great idea for me and my siblings to get up as Billy Ray Cyrus and his band.
Yeah.
Of course, my siblings were my backup singers and on the drums and all that sort of stuff. I was Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
And mate, it was well received
Oh, yeah?
by the family back home.
Hey,
Back
Dino,
home in the farm in Killarney.
Yes.
while we are on bands, did you hear that Twiggy Forrest had a big party? He had a big bash in the Pilbara, and everyone flew in. Eddie
Yes.
Maguire flew in. And
Well, a breakup party.
Nah,
I'm free
it
party.
was a birthday bash, and he was desperate to get a Coldplay,
No shit.
and they wanted a certain amount of money. I believe it was $10 million to perform.
That's Twiggy money. You
And
can
Yeah.
it's Twiggy money, $32.7 billion. I think he's worth. He refused to budge on his figure. Last final, $5 million.
No
So he ended up getting
Conrad Sewell.
He was there actually.
Jimmy
And
Barnes.
Shannon Knoll.
He ended up getting Jimmy Barnes to play, and it was a great bash. But it got me thinking, right? Because for Twiggy to go from 5 million to 10 million is nothing. Right? He can afford it. At what point, no matter how rich you are, do you say, nah, they're trying to screw me here. I'm not going
Great
to
question. When you said his net worth is how many bills?
32.7.
10 mil, that's worth it for the memory.
Yeah,
It's
but
less than
clearly-
it's less than 1% of his wealth.
Yeah, but clearly that's probably why he got wealthy, because he always knows he's a good negotiator. I'm going to go to this. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go a cent more.
So Coldplay are knocking back 5 mil for one.
10 mil.
10.
Oh,
you
yeah, they're
ma-
knocking back 5.
Knocking back 5.
So imagine what the bands are knocking back to come to the AFL. A decent band are knocking
yeah.
back to come to an AFL Grand Final.
Yeah.
So Springsteen, who Gil loves, what would he have offered Springsteen?
They probably 2 million, big, but we can't offer them exposure because they're obviously big enough, right? Whereas,
Yeah.
so they
Well,
go,
the
nah,
Super Bowl get it for free because they get exposure.
that's right.
The
Right.
exposure's worth a lot more money than actually paying the
Absolutely.
performer and the artist.
You bang on about the kids don't know. They wouldn't know Springsteen, but everyone, they'd be universally love that idea.
I would say that he has more commercial-friendly tracks that people would know because they've been used throughout films and stuff, more so than they know Kiss.
You've lost your mind
Four
again.
75-year-old rockers who one of them can't walk.
Hang on,
So excellent.
This is a Zach Vossi guy.
the last movie that the boss had a song in was Philadelphia. That was in like 1990.
That was a real,
No, he
that was
doesn't.
a real romp, a feel-good affair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he spent 30 years before that knocking out classics. It's like Billy Joel. Didn't Billy Joel say his concert out here the MCG, I've got bad news and good news.
Yeah.
Bad news is I haven't written a song since 1995, and the good news is I'm going to play all those songs from before 1995, which no one wants the new stuff.
No, they don't.
Hey, what about the Black Eyed Peas? Remember that when they came out and did that? They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Were they?
They were huge.
Remember we went to a party the night before where we met them, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was a big night.
Huge night. I'd just been offered up for trade to Port Adelaide that day, yeah, so there was a bit going on.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We went there, and
You almost went to Port?
I think they were pretty keen to get me.
You just gave Brody a bus fat.
And we went that night.
No, that was 2015.
No, 2009. 2009.
No, mate.
There was a private...
You've got your things crossed
No,
over.
they must have played before that.
Head knocks.
Head knocks.
No, 2009 they came, and I remember I was in a box with my shirt off and that with Tony Woods and a couple
really?
of people. Yeah.
I've got a cross because the Black Eyed Peas that I turned up, I took Stevie J.
Right.
Who was...
You gave him a
Oh,
cigarette.
yes, yeah, no, that was many years later.
Many
And we
years
went to
later.
the Red Room. That's right.
That's right.
And Gil was watching the Manicardo
At
in
the
the
Nova
crowd
Red Room,
as
yeah.
they were playing I Got a Feeling.
That was after we turned up to the West Coast function. It was 2015, Dog. Dino, and there was 1,200 people there, and me and Stevie J had to get on stage, and I gave him a cigarette before we went out on stage, and I didn't realise that it was a Winnie Blue, so it's blown Stevie J's head off, as well as 20 beers we had before.
Yeah, you'd had a few.
And Stevie's launched into this, what he thought was a great story, and got fucking crickets for the West Coast crowd, and he turns to me, he was a bit rattled, and turns to me and whispers, he goes, "Geez, tough crowd. That was my best story."
Good night.
Good night.
I've listened to him on Triple M.
They couldn't understand him after his Winnie Blue.
He is prone to a shit story, Stevie.
Finally, the finals are here after too long. So Thursday night, right? It's Melbourne Collingwood.
I think the Pies will bounce back.
So do I.
Like I know they won last week against Essendon, but I'm not counting that. I actually think they're going to come. I saw me man Craig McRae the other day. Fly. He's a magnificent fella. He's just imparting knowledge on you, imparting wisdom on you, left, right, and centre.
John,
and
didn't he say
that wisdom on the boys?
Didn't he say if his boys lose, he wants you to win?
Absolutely.
That's
he
kind.
said that, which was kind. And he also said for the punters out there, the more you put on, the more you get back.
He did. What about Bucks' description of Fly? Said that the body of a poodle, right?
Yeah.
But the mindset and mentality of a f***ing bulldog or pit bull, right?
Pitbull,
What a
yeah.
great description from Bucks.
good, eh?
We should get him on the podcast more. That was poetic.
Have you seen the forecast for Thursday? They're expecting hail on Thursday night. Have you guys ever played
Hail,
in hail?
Richie, hail.
That changes the game. If they have torrential rain and hail, that is going to be an absolute war.
Yeah, it does change the game, but I don't think it
helps
favours
Melbourne.
any. Well, I think Collingwood are a good enough team in the wet, aren't they? Or do you think they're more based on skills?
Slick ball movement and getting it into their small forwards. Whereas I think Melbourne, who pretty good contested side, which don't have a great forward line. Especially now that Melksham's out and they've just been juggling that. Petty's out. It might help. It might help the D's.
Well, they had a war of attrition against Carlton. They're well suited that a few weeks ago, although Carlton beat them. Do you give the Sydney Swans any chance of beating Carlton in the MCG?
Anything can
Friday
happen.
night.
Their defence has been rock solid. That's what they've won all their games on.
That's about it.
Yeah, because
Like their
offensive
contest
haven't
and
been
their
great.
ball movement's been
Been
terrible.
poor, but their defence has been rock solid. And in a final, that's probably the thing that can hold you in good stead.
Can you imagine if the Blues go down to Sydney?
It's going to be unbelievable. There'll be 90,000 there Friday night, and there won't be a huge amount of Sydney supporters. Even they've got the blood supporters down here, but I just feel like it's made for Charlie Curnow. I'm not sure how they're going to stop him, but those big bulls in the midfield, their midfield's not great, Sydney. I just can't see him winning.
Are you going as a fan or are you calling
I'm
in these
working.
games?
We're working Fox Footy from the stage. It'll be fantastic. So looking forward to
You
it.
going, Doc?
No, I won't be going to any game.
How come?
Well, I just know. I just like watching him on
Getting
TV.
rested.
Just-
Getting rested. For fun.
I'll be resting.
Getting rested for the bit.
Yes.
Casey got, brother.
Box Hill Hawks versus Footscray, at Box Hill City Oval. But I'll be flying up to Sydney Saturday to go to the UFC on Sunday.
Shit.
No, it's good. Lewis Martin, the boss of Channel 7, just keeping the rug on Brown Dog. Just never know. Get your best sauce.
Keeping the rug on him. What a saying.
Yeah,
That's
because I don't want to lose me to a rival network.
Good point.
The best thing for the AFL, and I maintain this, imagine it was able to be a Collingwood-Carlton grand final. That would ignite Melbourne. Like
We might get it next week, the actual final. So if Collingwood loses and Carlton wins, which is every chance, it'll be Carlton-Collingwood on a Friday night.
Jesus.
So that's more likely to happen than a grand final.
I would love to see him in the grand final. It would just be so good for footy, so good
mate.
for Carlton.
Pundit wankery. Let's get back to it. Let's test your punditry, because I think Broads might have when you predicted the ladder. Do you, Broads?
I do.
All right. So bear in mind, you are
to read them out?
No. Broads is. Are you doing this, Broads? Bear in mind, you're one of the premier pundits in the country.
Correct.
Yeah.
Seen more footy than anyone.
Yeah. Probably too much footy.
Including this morning, you're battling when you're sitting on the tarmac, because there was lightning strikes this morning in the Gold Coast. So I had a couple of extra hours to kill at the airport. So I've been studying up. A lot of vision. A lot of vision today. I've just been trawling through it. So I'll be I predict. Yeah. I can guarantee, as a matter of fact, I'll be 4 from 4 this weekend.
Wow.
You can clip that up, and you can play it to me again on Monday. I'll be 4 from 4 because I've just gone through reams and reams of vision. Almost feel like David King. I'm just without the numbers.
All right, John, if one of those slips up, that means you're a big, dumb pundit wanker.
Yes, thank you.
What's he got?
All right, so this is what Brownie, in about round 16, predicted the final ladder to look like.
Here we go.
Ready. He said that Collingwood were going to finish in first.
Yep, that's
Tick.
correct.
Well done. He thought Brisbane were going to finish in second.
That's correct.
Tick.
Can
Well
I
done.
detect a hint of sarcasm when you said Collingwood were going to finish first?
No.
Well done.
No.
It's a sprinkling of what I call Brody,
Yes.
which is just arrogant.
It's like,
Arrogant prick.
How's that?
hey, dog, Brody is the worst condiment you could put on your food.
He is, isn't he?
It's like, you think it's sugar, but it's salt.
You think it's sugar and it's dog shit.
Dog shit!
Well,
Hey, old, dry dog shit that turns white.
yes, I like
And
that.
then just shave it off like it's white truffle or something on your pasta. Beautiful.
I guess, yeah. Yes.
All right, in 30 had Melbourne.
Okay.
One off.
One off.
yeah,
They
one
finished
off.
fourth.
So I'll pay that.
And he had Port Adelaide in
Yep,
fourth.
so you got the top 4 pretty
John,
much right.
good punditry.
A slight
Thank you.
order mismatch, but yep, pretty much right. And then in fifth, he had Carlton,
Oh, he got that right.
Thank you.
which no one would have thought at the time. Then he had the Bulldogs in sixth.
Okay, couldn't predict their
Well, you couldn't have
ineptness.
predicted they would have lost to the West Coast Eagles
Nah.
at Marvel Stadium.
No, that was heroic from up. Keep going.
And then he had Adelaide in seventh.
Yeah, what about the goal umpire?
Yeah, that's
Hey,
fair.
any danger?
Blame-
Hey, if the goal umpire had a set of eyes. Now, I know there's been a bit of swearing in this sentence, or this line of questioning, but if the goal umpire had eyes, Adelaide would be in the finals, and that prediction would be correct.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then he had St Kilda coming in eighth.
Yeah.
So, no, you lose your
Pretty
way
good.
pretty bad, man, towards the end.
Well-
St Kilda's in there last time I looked.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
fair enough.
so you got 6 of the 8 right, and he's a little bit stiff.
Good punditry.
Losing to the West Coast Eagles and the goal review.
umpire.
The goal review that never happened. So.
That's a good point.
I
Hey,
had GWS in ninth, so I was pretty
Yeah.
close.
good punditry,
Well,
man.
we put a bullet through Sydney.
Yes, we did.
We put a bullet through GWS.
Yes.
I put a bullet through
You had Geelong.
Saints.
You were big on
I
Geelong.
was big on Geelong.
Dan Andrews.
I was big on Adelaide. So, yeah, his punditry was far better than mine.
Well, I'll finish off then. St Kilda will be the Giants. And Brisbane, again, do you give Port Adelaide any chance of being Brisbane?
Nah, man.
None. Not with Big Charlie Dixon. Sort of, he's touch
No
and
chance.
go.
Well, he's
and-
not going to play.
He's not.
How the hell are they going to... Here you go, Port Adelaide, bros. Do you want to bet on this?
Yeah, I do actually.
Will
money?
you tell us how your defence is going to stop the Brisbane forwards?
It's going to be one in the midfield. And midfield's going to run all over you. And unfortunately, that's where the game's going to be won. And then if you can keep it in your forward half for...
Oh, bro, it's his mic. Something's happened.
Yeah, okay. Over there,
Something's
mate.
happened to his
Speak up. Speak up, bro.
That's the second time he's taken my mic off today. I'm getting sick of him having control of that button.
What's this surfing thing on the run sheet?
The other night, I meant to say the other day, because we're talking about Luke Davies-Uniacke having a surfing accent. Where are we, Brown Dog?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, he
And,
missed the last couple of weeks of the season
Yeah.
with a broken toe from a surfing incident.
When I was in at North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, because we were supposed to talk about it on the podcast and we ran over time, I actually had a bit of a laugh with LD. You just brought it up with him, and he sort of had a bit of a laugh as well, and a bit of a grin, because he's a keen surfer.
So he come off the board and stubbed it, or
That's
how
right.
did he do it?
Yeah, stubbed it. So that reminded me, because surfing accidents can easily happen, and Blackie reminded me this the other night. So 2001, I said to Blackie,
I love you.
I love you.
Yes.
As well as, can you teach me how to surf?
Yes.
And he goes, yeah, no worries, big dog. And he took me down to the Gold Coast, and back down there at the Southport Sea, to get across to Southport to South Stradbroke, you have to go across the Southport Seaway. People might know of it, and it's probably about 100-metre paddle, and I didn't sort of think of it beforehand as to what you do when you get there, because you're paddling to rocks. So as we got close to the rocks, I said to Blackie, how do we get up there onto the rocks? He goes, oh no, you just catch a little wave onto the rocks and you spring up and land on your feet on the rocks.
Oh, easy, dog.
No problem. Kelly Slater can do that.
I'm thinking this is not computing in my mind. This is coming from a man that's been surfing since he's 5 years old. I've never had a surf in my life, mind you. I grew up in the cold seas of Warrnambool. So I have a crack at catching the wave. I land on the rocks and slice my foot open. So
Stitches?
Blackie takes me surfing. I'm hopeless at it. I'm out in South Straddie, which, as you might not be aware, there's quite a few sharks around that area.
And what can they smell, John?
Blood.
Yeah.
I bled out for about 3 hours,
Jesus.
and then I went home. So you can imagine the amount of pain I was in. I had a big slice on my foot.
Did you piss on the wound? Because you're supposed to piss on the
Should
wound.
have pissed on the wound, didn't.
You piss on a jellyfish sting, not a slice open foot on a rock. Well,
I should have pissed on it because it blew up. And the problem was I didn't consider this much about the first time to learn how to surf. It was the day before a game. We played North Melbourne in round 2. So I turned up to the game the next day. I couldn't get my boot on without being in extraordinary pain. I obviously didn't have I was too close to the game. I didn't have the guts to tell Lethal that I hurt my foot and sliced it open in a surfing accident.
10.
So I had to convince the doc, who I was close with, to fully needle up my foot so I could get my boot on. So I played a game of football with half my foot numbed, the top of my foot numb, so I could get my boot on and go out and play a game of football.
How'd you play?
After having the surfing accident.
How'd you play?
3 votes in the Brownlow.
Really?
Absolutely,
Oh,
I did. I played on Jason McCarty. Go and check the facts.
We
Brody,
believe
you
mate.
go back and check
We believe it.
And you played well.
I played well, but
And Lethal never found out.
never found out.
Wait.
But I played well. I couldn't feel my foot.
So, John, you had the doctors around your finger that much that they would do secret shit behind Lethal's
Well,
back.
they knew that Lethal would be filthy. If I rolled in there, I'm 19 years old, and said that, mate, I've hurt my foot in a surfing accident. I can't play a game of football. This is about an hour before the game.
Yeah.
So Doc goes like, no choice. They had to get the local anaesthetic out and needle the top of the foot.
Did you get
Now, I didn't kick. I'm not sure it had anything to do with my accuracy. I think I kicked 1 goal 4 that day.
But you got 3 votes. Did you ever surf North Straddie again?
Never
Never
again.
been back out there?
Never again. I've hardly surfed since then. So I can understand the Luke Davies Uniac.
Yeah.
Although he was soft, he missed a game.
Exactly right.
Must hurt, John, because I know you love getting in the green room when you surf.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw Blackie in the green room a few times that day. It's lucky I get taken by a shark. Did I get votes?
I can confirm you got 3 votes.
Well, there you
Jesus
go.
Christ.
Hey, we don't lie on this podcast. It's
Never.
one thing we don't do.
Yeah.
We don't embellish.
Yeah.
We don't lie. We don't make things up.
Thanks, bros.
Next, we're going to talk about Burning Man, which I'm obsessed with. What a burning dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Don't move. Ads.
This is Brownie's Podcast.
Welcome back to Brownie's Podcast. So Burning Man happens every year in the Nevada desert. They make a city called Black Rock City for days on end, and they go bunter.
And you need a bike. You ride around the areas on bikes, and there's different tents.
Dog, I don't think people can really understand how big it is. Like, just, you need a bike to get around.
Is it sort of like, as in there geographically?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
to
the
move
event
it.
itself.
Yeah, is it like Coachella?
Way bigger, way different vibe. It's more arty. There's weird, big, strange sculptures.
There's an anal bleaching tent. Did you see
Anal
that?
bleaching
Really?
tent.
Yeah.
You got to have that anal bleaching.
There's an orgy tent. You can go in there and just have sex with people.
Yeah, that's
it's
an-
like Splendor in the
What about
Mud.
sun bumming? It's sun bumming.
That's
before?
perineum sunning. It's
Yeah,
very...
perineum sunning.
No, I never heard of that.
Haven't you heard that?
Nah.
Well, because the best way to get vitamin D into your body is obviously through sun, and the part of the body that brings it in the best is your backside. So you actually lie on your back and stick your feet up in the air and spread them, and it's called sun bumming.
I didn't know that.
But there's a risk that because that has never seen the sun, that part of you, that you'll get
you can
skin
get burnt.
cancer.
You get burnt.
The Australian equivalent would be Splendor in the grass, which becomes Splendor in the Mud if it rains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it never rains in Nevada desert.
No,
course
it's a
not.
desert.
Yeah. So, a lot of people started dropping out before it because of the forecast, but people that didn't were like, nah, we can do
We'll
this.
be okay. We're soldiers.
What a nightmare. So it rained, and there's 5 inches of clay mud. So any vehicle can't get in or out.
They're stranded.
They declared it a national emergency.
Yes.
They said start saving your water and food.
I'm not aware
Rationing.
I'm not aware of this. I must have been under a rock for the
mate.
weekend.
So all the people that ride their bikes to different places to listen to different DJs, the bikes couldn't ride through the clay mud anymore. Yeah. So you either had to walk there on foot in the rain and just a nightmare, or you just sort of stayed where you were.
Really? So it's a bit like Woodstock in '69.
Yeah, it's
Sort
a
of.
disaster.
Again, though, Burning Man's is really unique. It's on its own its own lane. But when they started panicking, like you can't go anywhere, people were just like, "Fuck it, we're just going to get in the car. We're going." This is what happened to those people.
Oh my goodness!
That's a Jeep Wrangler.
That is unbelievable.
That is half.
Wow, that's fully submerged.
Mate.
So there's current reports coming out now of cannibalism amongst Burning Man attendees because they're getting so hungry and they're so high that they're eating flesh.
Stop it.
That's just not true.
Hang on. Read the
You said
article.
we didn't lie on this
no one's
podcast.
eating anyone at Burning Man.
I love that there's like ample food resources for everyone to decide. They're like, you know what? It's cannibalism. I'm going straight to cannibalism. I'm not going to
Dwindling food supplies.
They are saying Ebola, though. So LAX got shut down when some private jets from Burning Man came back because they were worried about Ebola. Chris Rock, the comedian, and Diplo, the DJ, knew they couldn't drive out, so they walked 5 miles to a point where cars could get traction, and then fans just picked them up and got them away.
You've got to get out of there. It'd be a nightmare. Like, could you imagine being stuck and no shower facilities?
Portaloos.
The portaloos were getting blocked and clogged, and no one could use them.
Yeah.
There's not great sleeping facilities at the best of times, right?
Yeah.
Wet, rainy. Oh, mate,
I just can't get past the picture of eating each other. Like I feel like I'm watching that rugby team or the soccer team got caught on the top of the Andes. They started cutting slices of fillet off each other.
Trench foot. Do you know what trench foot is?
Yes. When your foot is damp for too long.
Yes. People are getting trench foot. You get that in the war, not at a music festival.
There you go. Well, I've got a mate that's actually over there, Jake Baker Daish.
Has he eaten anyone
Strong
yet?
name.
And
Can we chat to him?
Well, why don't we try give him a call
Like,
because
what kind of meat's
He's a thigh man.
I wonder if he ate anyone.
big dirty rump?
I don't think he did.
Well
He went
done.
over there with a few mates, but he does the Unlaced podcast, which I've been on a few times.
Yeah.
Let's give Jakey a call because he might have just got out.
Oh, I love this. Okay, let's call Jakey.
He's well fed.
He's in a food coma. From the Unlaced podcast. Jake, how you going?
Jakey!
How are you, boys?
Yeah, mate, we're going well. Talk us through your last probably 72 hours, mate. You've been over in the middle of the desert to Burning Man, and things didn't probably go to plan.
Yeah, I think to say the least, mate. I never thought I'd see torrential rain in the desert like we did on day 2 of our Burning Man experience. But it bloody hell, it was a hell of a festival.
Jake, before you went, surely you looked at the weather report, brother.
You know what? There was a bloke in our camp, and they say like when you go into Burning Man, you say it's just like for us it was our first burn. Mm-hmm. So everyone kind of goes around and tells people after this is my 10th burn or whatever. And some guy was on his 17th, and he's like, he's never seen rain like it there. So wow, yeah, it's true things out of balance for a day or so, but it was just really hard to get around the terrain as such when it turned into mud because you got to bike everywhere because the place is just so enormous. So it was so much fun though. I think the rain kind of made it a little bit as well.
So, Jakey, just paint the picture for us. Like everything would have been calm, I presume, for the initial rains. Like probably a bit of excitement, a bit of jumping around. When did the panic start to set in?
Probably sort of over. I think it was in the overnight when we realised like the rain's not stopping, and it just kept coming and coming and coming, and to the point I think we had Kaz James, the DJ for well-known DJ globally from Melbourne. He was there, and his show got cancelled. So when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, it's going to turn south here. But Yeah, we just stayed. We had to stay in our camp for like one day. We couldn't actually physically leave. So
was it actual hell on earth? And did you know that the world is watching it? Because you wouldn't have had much internet, right, Jakey?
No, we had no acknowledgement of what was going on around the world until we kind of hacked into someone's Wi-Fi in our camp, and a few boys got some messages from everyone saying like it's global news and it's pandemonium and there's cannibalism going on. And yeah. We saw a few people jumping on people's necks trying to bite each other, but outside of that, I think it was blown up a bit. But it's probably, I think it was one of the best things we've ever done. All of us that came over were so glad we did it.
At any stage, did you consider cannibalism, Jake?
Which part of the body tastes best, Jake?
Yeah, well, I'm bunking with Tommy Bugg, so he started looking very appetising on one night. So
trained off.
I think he'll be sleeping with one eye open after our experience.
Yeah, he can eat Tommy. He finished my career actually. He could eat in his. You could eat in both legs, mate. Put him on the spit.
So, Jake, when you go to these festivals, especially if you're a young, good-looking guy, you like to meet, the other sex.
You want to get laid.
You want to try and get laid. Was there any of that going on? I could imagine you probably hadn't showered for 3 or 4 days. There's mud everywhere. What could you possibly do to entice the women?
Well, yeah, so the first thing we saw when we pulled up to our camp next to us was a place called the Orgy Dome.
Oh, wow. Wow. Did you catch any of the boys sneaking into it?
What's the vibe like in the Orgy Dome?
I'd be lying. I'm not gonna say I did any execution work in there, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't make sure I walked through to have a look just to see if it was real. And yeah, I've never seen as many swinging bodies in the one room. A couple of blokes looked like they were doing some performances or shows.
Did you walk in and say the big dog's going to eat?
Yeah, well, I walked in thinking the big dog's going to eat, and then I walked out thinking I don't think I know what I'm doing anymore. So, I learned a few moves.
Would you describe the inside of the Orgy Dome like an erotic Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like if you just think about like 20 beds in a row, and there was 3 rows, and there's just women and blokes just going hammer and tong. It was
goodness me.
I actually woke up in the middle of the night after it thinking like, fuck, that was the most graphic thing I've ever seen. So
I would have thought you were in a drone.
So you're out now, you're safe. Were you meant to get out early or were you stuck there for a few extra days? How did you manage to get to Reno?
Yeah, so we're probably going to stay for an extra day, but given the rain, we thought there might be another little bit of drizzle coming, so we decided to get out whilst it was dry, or we could, but pretty much everyone's like planes to get out of the camps were not flying, so we had to hitch a ride to a small town just outside of it, and then we had a driver pick us up to take us on a 2-hour drive to Reno, so we could venture on, really. Otherwise, we were going to be stuck there potentially till Tuesday, Wednesday.
Jake, I don't know if you know this, but Chris Rock and Diplo decided just to walk 5 miles away to get to where the mud was carable, and then some randoms picked him up and saved them. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't, but I put up on my Instagram of us being hitchhiked, pretty much, and someone was writing to me saying, "Oh, how very Chris Rock of you." I don't understand what the hell that means.
Oh, we appreciate your time, mate, and
no
thanks
regrets.
So much. Yeah, no regrets, and I can promise you one thing: next year it'll be my first Burning Man.
Browny, well, what they say here is they say "fuck your burn," which means the best of luck. So,
bang,
you'll love it, mate.
Well, fuck your burn, young man.
I love it, and go to the Unlaced podcast. You're doing a great job, Jakey. Enjoy the rest of your time over there.
Legends, guys. Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
See you, brother. Oh, I like that guy. He's fun.
I've got
dude.
the best idea to how to improve the Grand Final Festival.
Well, the Orgy Dome.
Out in the car park, just have a big orgy dome going on.
Gene Simmons is smack bang in the middle, just with his tongue out.
Dog, I thought you were joking about the orgy.
No, I don't joke about anything.
Yeah.
It's all legit. And cannibalism, as he, the boots on the ground, attested to.
He did not confirm.
No, he didn't. He said there was reports. however fictional they may have been.
Do you reckon we can get News Corp to send us over to Burning Man next year and we do a live podcast?
Not a chance.
Imagine them trying to sell this. So it's a sporting podcast. Yeah, great idea. We're going to send them to Burning Man.
We can play footy. We
Yes.
we can teach the Americans and the people that come overseas. We can set up a game.
We'll get Anaconda as a sponsor on board to sponsor a new orgy tent. Ads back in a second.
This is Brownie's Podcast.
This is Brownie's podcast, VFL coverage. You just asked me to talk
are we
about.
lacking content,
What
are
are
we?
you talking about?
What's wrong?
Do you know this podcast
Excuse
is
me?
listened to people outside of Victoria? Will you do VFL coverage?
Well, obviously, I watch the VFL solely for the fact that our man Brown Dog, that he is the star. He is like the BT of the VFL, right? They've got some lesser lights that you don't really hear about.
Dog is vigorously nodding yes.
Do you critique him? What's your real motives for this? Is it just critique?
It is a tough watch. Don't get me wrong. It's just not as slick as the AFL. In fact, it's like an amateur operation.
So what's
kind
the
of
usual team? The VFL, like the All-Star team, the A grade, the A team.
Nigel Bennett.
Yeah.
Jason.
Nigel Bennett.
Nigel
Carmody.
Nigel Carmody. Jason Bennett and myself.
Anyone else?
Sometimes we get Mickey Barlow in, just if we need an extra set of eyes.
Well, I was wow. If they can't quite handle the VFL coverage themselves, they get Barlow in just to really add a bit of polish. But I was watching on the weekend, and so usually it's pretty straight down the line. You know how sometimes on Channel 7 they like veer off and they start to ramble on about. The VFL's very, very serious, and it's just analysing the game, right? Well, Jason Bennett has let one just had a bit of a shot across the bow at our friend Dog on the coverage on the weekend. This is how it went.
Smothered off the boot of Drummond. What is going on? Cue the Benny Hill music. Ray.
Just some composed possession. Here we go. Oh, he's dropped it.
Can he hit a target before Brownie's brain explodes? Well, it won't make a big mess.
Hey, that's good gear.
Come on.
That's good gear.
I tell you what, I'm excited.
It won't make a big mess.
I didn't realise you actually sit in the box. I thought you were boundary rower at the VFL as well.
No, I'm in the box. Yeah, I'm in the box for that
Oh,
one.
So. I just pictured you all these years just on a cold, wet winter's day, sitting down at Frankston, just, no worries, Jace. Yeah, I'll grab the interchanges for you.
I'm always in the box. We actually haven't been able to afford a boundary rider for the last 4 years.
Who was previously?
We had a bit of Georgie Parker. We've had a bit of Brock McLean, but he never rocked up for his first ever shift.
Bernie Vince?
Really?
Bernie Vince?
Nah. We had Daisy Pearce back in the day, Abby Holmes, but
they progress up the ladder, whereas Dog just kind of stay.
I'm just stagnated. And I'm okay with it.
You're like a Burning Man puddle with a microphone.
I am.
Oh, you poor bastard.
You know what it's time for?
Yeah.
What a world. Yes. Now, this one caught my attention because it's unique. A couple of Arkansas men were both arrested for shooting each other while wearing bulletproof vests.
Yes!
Right? Now, they both got on the piss, these two. They were out on the deck, and, one thing led to another.
Yeah. Which it always does.
This could easily happen, couldn't it?
Charles Eugene Ferris said to his mate Christopher Hicks, hey, what do you reckon we put on bulletproof vests and we shoot each other and see if these vests actually work, right? So they did that. And Charles Hicks stood a couple of metres away.
What calibre guns?
Pulled the trigger.
What sort of guns?
Yeah, good question.
Because that'd be a major consideration for me.
In my head, I'm seeing a 6-shooter, a Magnum Desert.
Yeah, a 22 calibre semi-automatic rifle. So a proper gun.
22 is a full rifle.
22. Yeah. Bang! He shoots Charles Ferris.
Yeah.
The bullet doesn't go through, but it hits him so hard that he's badly bruised some parts of his body, and he's got to go to hospital. Right? Anyway, just before he went to hospital, Charles Ferris got so pissed off that his mate had shot him, which he'd asked him to do, that he shot him 6 times in the back. Right?
Really?
So Charles Hicks,
the actual back or like a bulletproof
back?
Jesus!
Just to get revenge, and they've both been charged. Right, in hospital. They're in hospital. They're sitting in Mercy Hospital, and they've been charged with felony aggravated assault.
Wow,
that is amazing.
I think if 2 consenting men decide to shoot each other wearing bulletproof vests, they should, in any country, be allowed to shoot each other.
It's unbelievable.
Should be celebrated.
I'm up for, I would be tasered if JB wanted to taser me. I'd be up for that. No way on earth I'd put a bulletproof vest on when you shoot me.
John, any good judge worth his robes will see that incident for what it was, and that's horseplay.
Horseplay. Every day of the week, horseplay.
Low-grade horseplay.
Especially in America. I can understand in Australia the judge wouldn't be happy, but in America the guns are everywhere. That's fun. Well, maybe we can do that for Brownie's listener party, Brownie's podcast listener party next year.
Like that.
Just to square up a few issues.
Now, I'm making an executive call. We're not releasing the Paris Hilton photos until next pod.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we have to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to talk about Dicko and Dog on the couch.
And Dixon, yeah.
Shit faced together.
Okay, let's do that on Friday.
All right,
Can
great.
we do that Friday?
Degenerates, have a great week. See you later.
Look after yourself.
Au revoir.
Adapt or die, baby. Adapt or die.